Welcome, and thank you for joining this Seeds event today. I am Connie Braden, and I will provide technical support for today's event. If you run into trouble, please use the chat feature to contact me directly. Please use the thumbs up reaction to let us know that you can hear. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping notes. Today's event is recorded. Please note that your microphone was muted by default when you logged in. However, you are encouraged to type comments and questions into the chat. All questions asked will be answered at the end of the event. Live captioning is enabled in Teams. You can click the More Actions button, which is the 3 dots at the top of the screen, then click on Language and Speech, select Turn on Live Captions, select English, and click on Confirm. Finally, your feedback is very important to us. At the conclusion of today's event, a link to a brief survey will appear. We would love to hear what you think so we can continue to improve and update this series. At this time, I would love to introduce our speaker, Ms. Latarsha Patrick. She is the Chief of Strategic Analysis for the Department of Planning and Strategic Analysis. Ms. Patrick, the floor is yours. We are so honored to have you today.
Thank you so much, Ms. Braden. Again, good afternoon, VBA. I am Latarsha Patrick, the Chief of the Strategic Analysis Team within the Workforce Planning and Strategic Analysis Division. My journey in federal service began as a GS5 Human Resources Specialist at the HR Center in Jackson, Mississippi. Since I've focused on sustaining success by building strategic partnership through exceptional service, an approach that has guided me in every role I've held. Throughout today's presentation, I'll be sharing my experiences as a remote supervisor of an all-remote team. Over the years, I've had the chance to lead various initiatives, collaborate across the agency, and adapt to evolving demands of our digital and hybrid work environment. So I am excited to provide some insights on mastering your digital visibility in hybrid settings. And this is a critical skill for fostering collaboration, enhancing productivity, and staying connected in today's landscape. I'd also like to introduce Ms. Abdullah. She's the SEEDS program manager who will be monitoring the chat and bringing up your questions for discussions. Thank you. Next slide. At the end of our time today, I want you to feel confident to provide chances for both team and individual participation. Decide on a strategy for consistently publicizing their achievements, of course, and use efficient strategies to maintain communication within your staff. Throughout the session, I invite you to either journal your thoughts on a separate document or just simply participate in the chat to share your reflections. Next slide. Now, before we get started, let's conduct a poll to see what type of duty locations are in the audience today. On the screen, you will see 4 options: 100% remote, telework, 100% in office, or none of the above. Which Which option that best describes your current tour of duty? Make your selection, then click submit. You can then X out of the dialog box and the results will be visible in the chat window. Take 60 seconds to do so.
And we got the responses rolling in. We have a nice crowd size today, 157 people, so this is good. So right now I'm seeing that remote for 100% is 37 people, so about 30%. Telework seems to be our highest number, which is at 64%, 78 folks. We have 0% for in office, and then we have none of the above 4. So yeah, it's awesome. Looks like your crowd today is going to be telework focused, and a few of us who are 100% remote, such as myself. So yeah, good blend.
Thank you. Wonderful. Next slide. So we will discuss the importance of understanding the telework dynamics of our teams, as well as our supervisors, so we can approach today's training in a way that will work best for you and perhaps your team if you're a supervisor. Here are the 3 key areas I'll be discussing to help you enhance your visibility in a remote environment. First, we'll discuss opportunities for engagement. Next slide. So don't wait for someone else to engage you. Simply just be engaged. There was an article written by Wo Zapar that discusses navigating the digital seas, 10 power moves to supercharge remote connection. For the sake of this presentation, I would like to focus on 3 specific power moves: mental oasis, cheers and applause, and of course, digital rulebook. Next slide. The isolation of remote work can sometimes be mentally taxing. Simply just create a safe space where you and your team members can connect on a more personal level to rejuvenate your minds and foster stronger connections. Think about having music playing like we did in the beginning before a meeting starts, or starting off meetings with the question that pulls new information about your team that you didn't know before. For example, their favorite movie or favorite song. Some of the things that I do on my team, first I like to say that I encourage them to take a wellness hour, which was mandated from our leadership. And I like to use that as a digital detox hour as well. But I encourage them to take that, simply log off and do whatever it is they need to do to relax. Maybe it would be taking a walk or stepping away to enjoy their coffee or their tea. One of the other things that I like to do, that we do in our team as well, is doing personal check-in. We have water coolers bi-weekly, where we have the team members, we participate in employee engagement. We may have like some type of activity like playing Family Feud or whatever, holiday that's rolling around, some games that center around that. Another thing is mindfulness group practice. At the end of our town halls that our leadership conducts, we have a virtual guided relaxation or stretching session, which works really well for myself, and I know other team members participate and utilize that as well. But let me hear from you. I like to hear from you all to know what practices or routines you use to create a mental oasis. What activities, big or small, you have found to be helpful for maintaining balance and well-being? If you would, please take 60 seconds to enter that in the chat for me.
And while people are typing, I see a couple comments already. So we have Hannah out of Denver that says, I had a team at a former job that would play short round of Would You Rather before team meetings started. It helped everyone warmed up and ready to contribute their thoughts and ideas. Love that idea. We have Delphia out of Colombia that says, I absolutely love to play some soft meditation music while I work. I, in the same way, I feel like I have to have some type of background noise when I'm working. And I typically go to watch The Office. So I just have that playing on rewind while I'm working as background music, as background noise. Others are saying coffee time, exercise, walking during lunch, going outside for a while. I don't know about you all, but I live in Texas. So right now we're in our cool season. So I do spend a lot of time going outside and getting that fresh air. I see something that I'm trying to get into. Deanna said gardening and taking care of the plants. That's almost like equivalent, I heard, to like taking care of a child, because you do have to do so much work. So yeah, a lot of active commentary inside of the chat room, which I feel like we both could resonate with in terms of just getting that break in music, walking. So yeah, good conversations.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Miss Abdullah. Next slide. This is probably the biggest highlight for me. The ability to celebrate one another. You truly never know how far your words can go with someone, even if a simple thank you goes a long way. Recognition is fuel of motivation. And being remote doesn't allow us to give each other high fives or going out for lunch at a nearby restaurant. In the virtual world, we have to become more creative with showing our appreciation to one another. Consider these on the screen. Sending regular shout outs or kudos to your teammates and supervisors boosts morale and fosters connection. I know one of the things that I like to do, we have weekly SA team meetings, and I like to start out by um, giving my teammates the kudos. I also do another thing where we can do digital awards. Like I will send each one of my team members a digital Starbucks like $10 or something, so that the next meeting we come to, they can order Starbucks or whatever. And during that meeting, we can drink our coffee or our tea, or something like that. Let me hear from you. How do you share your own experiences of offering team members or your supervisors kudos? Take 60 seconds to enter that in the chat for me.
I know I will agree with you. You had me at Starbucks. Um, so hope my supervisor's on as a creative way to engage his employees. But yes, we have a couple people. Simple thank you for the little things, optimistic affirmations. I think that's important. Words of affirmation. Also love to ask how everyone's doing on calls. Like even if I hardly know people, so just getting to know people. Shout outs, heart emojis, time off. Oh, I see another one. Time off awards are preferred. Justin, bring that to your leadership in Pittsburgh and see what happens and let me know the outcome. Posting gifts, I think that's an all-around thing that we do. I think I do it a lot too. Shouting out team members, posting your favorite songs. So yeah, a lot of similarities to what you were saying. I think the Starbucks thing is real big. And then of course the time off awards, I think those are impactful as well. So yeah. And then team praises, the badges on teams. Yes, Eva, that's another great way. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Those are wonderful. Next slide. So having a clear structured process is essential in a digital work environment. When everyone understands the workflow and expectations, it reduces confusion and helps keep projects moving smoothly. Open communication builds trust and ensures everyone stays on the same page. So, encouraging regularly updates and being transparent in conversations helps prevent misunderstandings and keeps team members connected. A task management tracker keeps everyone aligned and accountable. By using a shared tool, team members can see priorities, track progress, and stay aware of deadlines, making collaborations more efficiently. This is some of the things that we use on my team. We create like internal business rules. It's a subset of like our SOP, just to quickly outline key workflows, steps, responsibilities, just to keep team members on track with different things that come, different taskers or anything that comes down the pipeline. Regularly reviewing and updating this document so everyone has a clear reference, because when we do our business rules, some things may change, so we try to make it a monthly habit of reviewing that as a team to see what changes may have taken place so we can update those. For open communication, we do have scheduled weekly huddles, team huddles, where everybody shares like updates, questions, or challenges they may have. This touch point promotes transparency and keeps everyone informed. We do have a task management tracker, and because we receive taskers in our corporate mailbox throughout the day, daily, this allows my team to keep track of the taskers. We have someone that assign each team member if that ask is within their swim lanes. So these are some things that we do to keep ourselves, to hold ourselves accountable and to ensure that we are providing the best possible customer service to our internal and external stakeholders. Next slide. Next, let's talk about sharing your accomplishments. Next slide. One way to share your results is with the 5x15 report. It got its name because it should take your supervisor no more than 5 minutes to read and you no longer than 15 minutes to prepare. Sharing your accomplishments is a powerful way to enhance visibility, especially in, when we're working in this remote and hybrid space. By openly communicating achievements, you can demonstrate your value and your contributions, reinforcing your role within, the organization or within your division. This proactive approach helps build credibility and trust, positioning you as a dedicated and results-oriented professional. Next slide. Another approach is the monthly check-in with your supervisor. We do have monthly check-ins on my team. We have monthly performance reviews, and this gives my team members a chance to highlight their accomplishments to me and to again let me know if there's any things that I need to be up to speed up on. If there's any things that I may have blinders or blind spots that need my attention, that I may not be recognizing. but it gives the team members like an open space to be, open and free to share with me not only their accomplishments, but things that I can help them progress in their position. Now, let me hear from you. I'd like to know, what is it that you do monthly to keep your team engaged? Take 60 seconds, sorry. Take 60 seconds, enter it into the chat, and let me know what is it that you do.
And while folks are writing in the chat, I think I like what you said about meeting with your supervisor monthly. I wrote it transparency. I think that's important, right? Especially when you're doing performance evaluations. I think that's important to have that transparency with your group to kind of keep them aligned in what they need to improve on. And it's also a good way to not have surprises at the end of the year. It just helps with bridging that gap and knowing like, hey, am I on track or am I not on track? So I think that was great in what you said. A lot of commentary in the chat as far as monthly performance reviews, team huddles. They have a team's chat page. So again, a lot of those weekly, monthly meetings, I think that keeps people on track. Some people have bi-weekly meetings with their supervisors. But yeah, monthly reviews and just being detailed in those meetings because, employees do rely on that feedback to know how to progress for the remaining fiscal year. So I like that. And then is there a template for the 5x15? So yes, that's something that we do in L&D. So I will definitely share an example of what that looks like at the end of this session. Yeah, I think it's a way for us here in L&D to track what we do on a weekly basis. So that way, if you do have a monthly with your supervisor, that's information that you can share for the coming weeks that you've worked. So yeah, I definitely will share that tool with you all. But again, I think, like I said, it's pretty common, biweekly or monthly or weekly meetings with their supervisors. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you. And also, making the employee feel inclusive, right? Not just going over their, highlighting their accomplishments, but there may be some things that they may need to work on, but also giving them the opportunity in that space to, during that one-on-one, to give you some feedback of their, evaluation of you as well, to make sure that you are providing what they need in order to be their best selves in their position and progress in their professionalism. Next slide. Finally, let's talk about how you can create actual visibility. Next slide. So in order to create actual visibility in our hybrid environment, there are a few strategies we can implement. As a supervisor, one thing that I do when I am on TDY or out, I share my calendar. I share my calendar with whomever that's acting. This allows them to see my availability, making it easier to connect and collaborate on projects. And it allows them to see, what it is that I am doing or the meetings that I attend daily as a supervisor. And I give them total autonomy to attend those meetings. I try to prepare them ahead of time. So I am comfortable with them when they see those meetings on my calendar and I am unable to attend. I am comfortable with them attending those meetings and advocating on my behalf in my absence. So consider in-person opportunities whenever possible, such as attending key meetings or events, face-to-face interactions, build rapport, and reinforce your presence within the organization. And lastly, encourage camera use during weekly staff meetings. In our weekly overall WIPSA staff meeting, we are on camera, whether that's a water cooler meeting, or whether it's the meeting where we're giving out, providing our director an overview of what we have on our agenda. This helps create a stronger team connection and allows everyone to engage more authentically, promoting visibility and trust across our team. For our individual SA team meetings, I sometimes have on-camera meetings, and sometimes we have off-camera meetings, but just, we just fluctuate depending on what are the tasks that we have on our agenda then. And sometimes, like when we do our Starbucks, we get on camera and just discuss anything, how the weekend was, what our kids did, or anything like that, just to create that camaraderie, to make them feel comfortable on both ends, both levels. Next slide.
Before we go to the next slide, you got a lot of commentary that agree with
Okay.
what you're saying as far as having that camera on. But I can say I relate to Delphina about, cameras are encouraged, but not everybody has, great days, but you still want to come to work. So I get it. It's hard to be camera ready 24/7. I
Yes.
agree. I did have a question though for the chat, because I know that in the beginning of our poll, we had majority of our folks that telework. So I'm just curious, for those that telework, do you all try to arrange days to be in the office the same time that your other peers are going to be in? And if we have any supervisors, do you also make yourself available to the days that majority of your staff is in the office? Or does everybody just do their own thing, in terms of, well, I'm coming in on Monday and Friday, and that's the only days I'm coming in? So, okay, good. So I see some people say, yes, they try to, all on different days. So yes, I have a hard time getting on camera buy-in, and we can't force it. Any tips on people to make it more comfortable? I would say, Sarah, just being that example will, again, like you said, you can't force it, but just keep being that example. Some people just are shy. If you've ever taken a DISC assessment, you know that we have some people that are more reserved, more introverted. But yeah, I mean, you just keep being that example. What do you think, Latasha, about, like, as far as people who are just reluctant to turning on that camera and you can't force it?
Well, no, but I would say get in a habit, like a practice of just showing up, getting yourself ready and showing up and just appearing on camera. You would find, and you would be surprised, that it would make you more comfortable with coming on camera, and you will find that the connection is totally different, right? Off camera, we're discussing, we're on the cell phone. But once you get on camera and you are looking someone in their eyes face to face, it creates a more personal, professional relationship. And to me, there's a better connection once you do that. Not saying all the time. Like with my team, I will let them know ahead of time, like, hey, next team meeting will be on camera. Of course, for overall our WIPSA team meeting, overall division team meeting, we know every week on Wednesday, we are to be camera ready. So that is to be expected. And because we are to be on camera every Wednesday, my individual team meetings are on Tuesday. So I don't make, the team members be on camera every Tuesday and Wednesday. However, I do let them know ahead of time so they have enough time to be ready. But I would say just do it. Don't think about it. Don't, process it. Just get fixed up and get on camera, and you will see that the connection is totally different. It's kind of like face to face, like the connection is totally different when you're in office and you're speaking or talking to another coworker. However, I do miss that a lot. So I'm not, opposed to getting on camera, because I like the person to person connection, putting the human in how we interact with one another on a daily basis.
That's awesome. That was great. And I will say, just to comment on again what Sarah had mentioned from Seattle, if I heard in the previous seed series that we did with Miss Asensio, one strategy that I saw was instead of people coming on camera, they had their pets on camera. So that might be a different way to engage,
Yes.
to get that started, to break that ice. So maybe not you, or maybe not you have your face on camera, but use your pet's face for that meeting. So that meeting is full of animals and you're just looking at animals instead of people. So I heard that's another way to re-engage people, to get them kind of out that zone of not wanting to be on camera. I know some of my coworkers have a lot of pets and they show them. And I just enjoy seeing that. I don't have a pet personally, but I always post my pet niece, is what I call her. So yeah, like try that and see if that works. And again, just for those teleworking, remember, waist down, you can do whatever you want, but waist up, and you're in that camera, just making sure that it's appropriate if you are going to turn on that camera. So yes, awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Yes, and thank you for sharing. That's a great idea. Maybe you can have that for like a water cooler, like to break the ice. Coming on, I am a pet lover. I do have a pet. I have a teacup Yorkie, and he's my baby. He acts like the Tasmanian devil when I let him loose, but he is my baby. And so those are one of the things that can break the ice for you, like during a water cooler, and help you feel more comfortable because you can introduce him or her, or and go from there. But those are great suggestions. Thank you all. Next slide. The future of work is flexible, enabling us to meet the diverse needs of both our employees and our organization. By embracing flexibility in when, where, and how work gets done, we can attract top talent, enhance productivity, and support well being. With purposeful, asynchronous communication, our team can collaborate seamlessly from anywhere, ensuring productivity and cohesion regardless of location. This approach is not only this approach not only strengthens engagement and resilience, but also keeps us competitive and agile in a rapidly evolving landscape. Next slide. As we close today, I invite you to take a look at your notes. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I hope that one or more of these topics resonated with you. Remember, we talked about 3 important items today: opportunities for engagement, engage in unscheduled office visits and informal gatherings to strengthen connections and foster a collaborative environment, enhancing team bonds and fostering resilience. Sharing your accomplishments. Just keep your supervisor informed about your achievements and projects by using visual aids, progress tracking tools, or regular updates to reinforce your impact, and keep leadership informed. You can do this in your one-on-ones. Creating actual visibility. Ensure consistent visibility in both in-person and virtual settings, attending high-traffic events and meetings, and maintaining a recognizable presence to establish credibility and approachability within your team. Now, applying best practices, we can consistently use effective strategies and tools to enhance our digital presence and communication in a hybrid work environment. We can acknowledge and manage our emotional reactions by recognizing the emotional responses to our digital interactions and practice control to maintain professionalism and effectiveness. We can address feedback triggers by being mindful of how we respond to feedback, focusing on constructive engagement rather than defensive reactions. We can adopt a growth mindset, embrace challenges as opportunities for development, continually seeking to improve our skills and adaptability in a hybrid setting. List three things that you think you can use one, but take 60 seconds in the chat to just list three things that you may want to do or utilize.
We have William who's agreeing with you. Yes, sometimes a mistake can be made by how we react to someone's statement or reaction. So yes, even on camera, facial expressions are everything. So yes, thank you for sharing that. We'll let people, I know people are agreeing with William, so that's good.
Yes, I am so guilty of that. Like in the beginning, when the first reaction came in, I was like, I did some type of reaction. So yeah,
Academy Award winning acting. I know for sure that I am a facial person. Okay, we got Miss Delphina out of Colombia that says, know when you need to walk away. I know that's right.
yes,
That okay. Say a little louder. That was perfect. We need to pin that one. Smile
yes,
even when you're talking with someone. Yes, very important. And then
yes.
just breathe. Yes, those are three. I'm gonna take those and put this in that presentation. Thank you. Copyright that. Being aware of my reactions and my facial expressions, Miss Latanya, it's my old coworker out of Southeast. We have practiced the pause. I like that. So like first before you, once you get that information, pause before you respond, like digest that information. I like that.
Yeah.
Jacqueline, I like that. Win-win mindset, pause before reacting, smile before speaking. Very good. Thank you, Anthony. And then make time for small talk. Yes. I mean, I think everybody should find that one coworker they can have a conversation for about, I don't want to say an hour, but because then obviously you're not doing enough work, but definitely find that person that you can vent to and bounce ideas off of. Um, William said
Right.
knowing how to bring own heat into the conversation by using key calming words or phrases, very
Mm.
important. Being more mindful of what we say and how we say it. Yes. Listening.
Yes.
Listen to hear, not answer. Kim, you speaking. I
Yes.
like that.
Active listening.
I like
Yes.
that, Kim. Yes. Do not use all caps when responding. Now, sometimes I make that mistake, Diana. I will say it's not intentional, and I'm probably smiling as I'm writing in all caps. I did this accidentally, and once it offended my coworker, I didn't realize and quickly apologized. No, no worries. And again,
Mm.
we're human. We all make mistakes. Manage tone verbally and through email. Yes. And always remember, I'm here to help. Yes. And my
Mhm.
brothers and fellow sister veterans. Yes. So if we have any veterans, yes, thank you for your service as we have Veterans Day coming up. So feel free to
Yes.
rep your branches, your military service in the chat. So yes, thank you for your service. But yeah, I think everybody's agreeing with you. And yeah, it's a great segue to our final slide. Mhm.
Yes, and I like what the one of the person said. Active listening. Yes, that carries a lot of weight. And then not invalidating the person you are communicating with, not invalidating their feelings or invalidating what they are trying to relay. Just asking questions to get a better understanding so that the situation can be calmed down. So thank you all. Those are great suggestions. Next slide. So share in the chat again. I know we've been asking you to share in the chat, and you guys been doing wonderful with your feedback. We greatly appreciate that. So share in the chat if you're comfortable now that you have learned about how to receive feedback more effectively. What will you do differently next time you are getting feedback? How do you want to show up to that conversation? What is the one thing you learned today? feel free to take 60 seconds to enter that.
We got some folks that are repping their branches. See, go Army in here, go Navy. Simply
Yes.
appreciate feedback no matter how I feel about it. Shanika said that out of St. Louis. I like that. That's just being optimistic. I think starting
Yeah.
and ending a day with a warm message that goes a long
Mm,
way, William.
yes.
Listen to learn rather than to respond. So listening seems to be a real key, like you talked about active listening. Definitely, definitely the mindset. Don't take anything personal. I like
Yes.
that. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
try new things. Yes, be optimistic. Sarah, I just keep thinking about you and what you said about your employees. I think if you just try different approaches each time, keep people guessing, that might keep them engaged. And one of these days, you're going to see one of those 25 folks on your next team's meeting, and definitely capture a picture because it lasts longer. But yes, participating, listening. Yeah. So it's all similar. So definitely to what you were saying, to how you spoke volumes about that active listening piece. Mr. Jose Vega said, ensure that my mood relates a positive vibe, even when holding difficult
Mm,
conversations. Yes, crucial conversations is definitely a big thing, and how you deliver, information goes a long way. So yes.
yes.
Awesome. So yeah, I'll let you close with your reflection, Miss Patrick, and then you can proceed with close.
Okay, so I everybody had like the great suggestions and everything, and I do stress, of course, our leadership stress, active listening, not invalidating your team or your teammates. Points of view, being optimistic, trying to asking those questions to engage them more or to get them to provide more clarity, and asking those questions allow them to see, okay, they are listening to me, they're inclining more to get a better understanding from my viewpoint. And so those are things that I try to practice on my team and with my colleagues as well. And I try to give them that opportunity to ensure that I am, giving them my full attention, and vice versa. So those are some of the things that I try to do to make sure that I am, um, presenting myself as best as I can, and being attentive to our internal and external stakeholders. Next slide. So here's where today's presentation scholarly research comes from. And I invite you to check out the SEEDS SharePoint site for more information on upcoming SEEDS events. Next slide. At this time, I'll open it up for any questions.
Awesome job, Miss Patrick. I think this chat was definitely engaged, and I think we all kind of learned some new things and what we can use in the future. You're definitely getting a lot of praises, so definitely wonderful job. I know I got some homework. I got to send out my 5x15 report to folks, so that way they have that. So I'll make sure I get that to you all. But I'm not seeing any questions, just a lot of
Okay.
thank yous and a lot of people praising you for a wonderful presentation.
Well, thank you all so much. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. So I will thank you, Ms. Patrick, for what you've done for today. I will turn it over to our course advocates to present you all with our survey material. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Patrick, for the excellent presentation and information, and thank all of you for attending. We would love to hear from you.
I think Ms. Connie got cut off, but just to let you all know, we're going to drop the SEEDS link for the evaluation in the chat for you all. I will also email you the email link as well. So thank you again for attending today's Seeds event. Oh, Ms. Connie, are you back?
Yes, I am so sorry. So sorry. All right, you will see the link on the screen. And that concludes our session for today. Thank you again for joining us for the Seeds event. Have a great rest of your day. And one more reminder to get out and cast your vote. Have a great day, everyone.